What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Storytime with Silvia. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're enjoying this series, please hit like and share with someone you think can relate. And if this is your first time listening to one of my stories, make sure you go back and check out the ones I've posted in the past. Most of my stories are of my first generation Mexican American upbringing, time with my abuelos, personal experiences, and so much more. Enough of the chit chat. Let's get to the story. This story is called 3.1416. My father didn't have the opportunity to have an extensive education. His dad passed when he was only 3 years old. According to the stories that he has told me, he always excelled in school and loved to learn. Like most Mexicanos, he had to stop going to school at a very young age. Money was scarce, and he had to work to help out at home. Ever since I can remember, my dad was always reading. He would read anything he could get his hands on, and his reading wasn't for leisure. It was for educational purposes, and it was enjoyable. He thought everyone should find the same pleasure in reading and learning. Unfortunately, my brother and I would rather play with the neighborhood kids than read and learn more than what was the school's expectation. I mean, who wants to do extra work? Don't get me wrong, I loved learning new things and reading. I still do. But I enjoyed reading Judy Blume, not reading about the Cold War at the age of 10. What the heck? Homework? I was cool with doing the minimal. But on top of our schoolwork, my dad would give my brother and I extra work. When we finished our homework, we had to move on to more learning activities that he would leave for us to do. Ay, Dios mío! I just wanted to watch TV and play dress up with my aunt and rock out to some old school Spanish jams like Rock del Angelito by Los Rebeldes del Rock.
Rock del Angelito a bailar, a cantar y a gozar. Rock del Angelito baja a mí que me quiero enamorar, que me quiero enamorar.
Or Billie Jean by Michael Jackson. My dad would buy a Spanish newspaper, La Opinión, and make me read it for 30 minutes a day. And it's probably one of the reasons why I can speak Spanish. I can't say the same for writing in Spanish, but I get by. By the age of 6 or 7, I had all the times tables memorized. When I was about 9 or 10, I had all the Central American and South American countries and capitals memorized. Don't ask me to recite them, and don't tell my dad, but I honestly don't even remember them now. At around the age of 10 or 11, he told me to learn about radius, diameter, circumference. I had to practice it until I mastered it. Unfortunately, when it was time to use those math formulas, I'd forgotten them. I think I placed them in my short-term memory. Who knows? He even made me remember los tres agraviantes de la ley. Premeditación, alevosía, y ventaja. Let me translate that for you. The 3 aggravating factors of the law are premeditation, treachery, and advantage. At the time, I didn't even know what the heck I was saying. But if he asked me, Silvia, ¿qué son los tres agraviantes de la ley? I would answer as if it were part of my daily life. One of the things that I think I will never forget is that 3.14 equals pi. Matter of fact, he took it a step further and made me recognize it as 3.1416. I memorized it in Spanish, so every time I would hear the word pi, I would automatically recall it in Spanish, and I would have to translate it in my head before answering my teachers or anywhere it came up. And I still do to this day. How many of you translate in your head still before spitting out the words? Hashtag bilingual problems. It wasn't until I had to use it at school that I learned that I could stop at 3.14 and not have to continue to work out the problem with 3.1416. That was just too long. So now we celebrate pi, March 14th, 3.14 or 3.14, in honor of my childhood trauma and in honor of a father who pushed his kids to excel beyond their years. I hope you enjoyed today's story time, 3.1416. If you can relate and had parents who thought that the education in the United States wasn't leveling up what they received in their country, let me know below. Did you hear this all the time? I sure did. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed it. And I'll see you, you'll hear me in the next one. Peace.
Me queda una oportunidad. Sé que aún no es tarde para recapacitar. Sé que nuestro amor es verdadero y con los años que me quedan por vivir demostraré cuánto te quiero.